This issue is critical. We know that if they're not prepared, our students will not face success at our community colleges. We're doing everything we can to reach this Drive to 55 goal. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Nate Essex, President of Southwest Community College, to make a few remarks as well.
Thank you. Again, I'm Nate Essex, Southwest Tennessee Community College in Memphis. Unfortunately, our colleges are attracting far too many students who come to us unprepared for college work. Last fall, roughly 68% of full-time freshmen entered our campuses unprepared and in need of remedial work. Some people might suggest that this is a teacher quality issue, and we all know that our teachers have proven that they can educate our students successfully. Others might suggest that students merely do not have the capacity to learn. But we contend that all students can learn, reach high standards if they are provided the correct educational environment and academic support. So the challenge seems to be that we are not aligning the standards that students are meeting in high school with what they need to be college ready. I am the president of Southwest Tennessee Community College, an urban-based college. Last year, the average ACT score for our entering students was 16.5, the lowest among all community colleges and far below the threshold for learning support. The troubling issue that we face is that research shows that students who are underprepared are far less likely to achieve success in earning degrees and certificates. In fact, according to a study by Complete College America, only 46.5% of those requiring remedial work will actually complete their remedial courses. Same study showed that 12.6% of Tennessee students require remedial work will only manage to graduate within 3 years. This is troubling because we know how important success is for our students. Obviously, our students are attending high school, meeting those standards, but falling short of being able to pursue their careers through certificates and degrees. Obviously, we cannot continue this trend if we wish our state to achieve the promise that it has before us. My colleague, Dr. Apple from Martlow State, will address Tennessee standards.
Good afternoon, and I am Mary Lou Apple, and I serve as the president of Martlow College. I am honored to stand with my colleagues in support of initiatives focused on student success. I come from a family of K-12 teachers. Education, specifically K-12, has historically provided the foundational skill sets we need to lead successful lives. Our world is constantly changing, and therefore our needs change. Rapidly developing new technology and communication systems have changed the skill sets needed for success. Our business and industries are asking us to prepare a student with a higher level of critical thinking, with an ability to process and use information and problem solve. Approximately 4 years in the state of Tennessee, 4 years ago, a collaborative partnership between K-12, higher education, ACT, the College Board, and the State Higher Education Officers Association worked to establish standards that aligned with and prepared the students for college and career-ready success. Our excellent K-12 classroom teachers and administrations in Tennessee made those changes, and once again were successful in moving our students to being more prepared. Tennessee was recognized for this success as having the nation's highest gain in reading and writing. As our expectations have risen, so has our students' performance. Let's keep it going. I applaud Commissioner McQueen and the team of classroom teachers and administrations for caring and acting on the challenge from business and industry to stay the course of aligning standards that prepare students for a seamless transition from K through 12 to college and then career. Tennessee is fortunate to have dedicated and committed educators, but all of us have a part in the responsibilities of this initiative. I ask you to be a partner and a supporter by first participating in the review Governor Haslam has provided. Share your ideas. Be a problem solver. Help frame the solution. Work collaboratively with K through 12, higher education, and business and industry to help continue a plan that aligns our students for success. Be a cheerleader of the value of an education. Talk about this in your home, your workplace, your churches, and your organizations. Be actively, passionately engaged in helping not only your community, but our state and our nation to be a leader in knowledge wealth that will ultimately increase the quality of life. Our students are depending on us to provide the environment for them to succeed.
As members of the higher education community, we recognize the importance of staying the course with rigorous K-12 standards and putting new student assessments in place that measure college readiness. These are critical components to achieving our state's Drive to 55 goals. We strongly encourage our state's leaders engaged in review of the standards to support higher standards to ensure Tennessee students are prepared to succeed in college and career. We owe it to the students of Tennessee to ensure they have the skills and knowledge they need to fulfill their promise. We urge the Commissioner of Education and our state leaders to press ahead with implementation of these high standards and new assessments designed to measure student achievement and align with college and career preparation. We are prepared as leaders of higher education institutions to partner in this work. Our institutions welcome clearer measures of student readiness and continued partnerships with our K-12 colleagues to create a smoother transition for students from high school to college to career and success. At this time, I'd like to ask my colleague to sign the letter to Commissioner McQueen. Chancellor Morgan and Vice Chancellor Nichols. Also, I'd like to recognize the fact that we have our colleagues from the Tennessee Colleges of Applied Technology and the university's Middle Tennessee State University as well. Thank you for being here with us.
We'll take questions now.
Yeah, questions for any of us at all?
What do we need to see from these standards to ensure that graduating high school
Be glad for anybody to take a shot at that. From my perspective, Adam, what we need to see are students who walk into our classrooms that are ready to do the kinds of college level work that we know can lead them to success. That's a whole range of skills from technical skills to study skills to soft skills to the understanding of how to think critically, of how to work in groups, how to solve problems, how to communicate effectively. Those are all elements, we believe, of the standards that the state has now adopted and is implementing, and we would believe that those are the things that are required to ensure, or at least to assure, the best possible success of our students.
I'll say from a campus perspective, we know that if a student can come in and start college level work their first semester, the likelihood of them moving on to complete a program and then move into the workforce through a career program or to transfer to a university increases dramatically. Any sort of remedial or developmental work significantly hinders that student's progress towards degree. We're taking great strides within our system and within the community colleges across the state to make sure we have the absolute best program of remediation available on campus, but the reality is, for the best possibility of student success is to have them prepared for college work on day one. In terms of the kinds of students we expect to see on campus next fall. So I'm at Pellissippi State, so we've been involved with Knox Achieves and Tennessee Achieves from sort of the beginning of the program that eventually became Tennessee Promise. We found very early on that program actually targeted the kind of students that we wanted to see pursuing higher education, that they were first-generation, low-income students who would benefit the most from the education provided at a community college and technical college. We didn't see a significant change in the levels of preparation of those students. students. So those students went into the remedial and developmental programs we offered at that time. I would hope the same thing would happen with Tennessee Promise, that we'll continue to see large numbers of first-generation and low-income students take advantage of this great opportunity. We hope they're going to the meetings now and completing their FAFSA by the February 15th deadline so they remain eligible to participate. But we're prepared to handle those students on campus. And in fact, we're enhancing our developmental education programs to make sure that they have the best possibility of earning college credit the very first semester they're on campus.
What are the areas of specific weaknesses that you really think you can target and look at and have
Generally, when we talk about developmental education and learning support, it's in math, it's in English composition. Those are the two areas probably that are, I would suspect, reading that are the primary areas. And I think the point is that the standards that are now in place that Tennessee teachers have been trained on now for the last 3 or 4 years, I suppose. We believe are standards that if our students are successful in learning, if our teachers are successful in teaching, which we know they can be, if the students are successful in learning, which we know they can be, then in very short order, the students coming to us from high schools will be ready for college work. A lot of times, we in higher education complain about student preparedness and how great it would be if only the K-12 systems did better, and it comes across as a criticism really of teachers and students. But at the core, it really isn't, because the students who come to us out of high school all have high school diplomas. And it's not because somebody just gave them a high school diploma. It's because they met the expectations that had been set for them in order to graduate from high school. The problem has been the misalignment historically between those standards and what it really takes to be successful. So we believe we now are on course to have standards that in fact reflect what is required, and I'm confident that our K-12 teachers and our students will achieve those expectations because we have set the expectations at the right level. So, one of the things that we would love to do is work our way out of developmental learning support for recent high school graduates. We're not there yet, but we have hopes that one day we will be. Now, that doesn't mean that the need for learning support goes away, because as adults come back, people who've been out of school for a number of years, were I to go back to school, I would undoubtedly be a beneficiary of some learning support. But as far as students coming out of high schools, we really can get to a place where the vast majority of those students are ready to succeed from day one. Anything else? Thank you all for being here very much.